Welcome to the Coordination Conversation with Jordan and Skala engineers, where over 70 years of consulting engineering expertise becomes an easy conversation. Before we begin, we want to thank some of our partners. CTC Software empowers AEC professionals with high-performance tools built for your workflow. Whether you're designing buildings, modeling infrastructure, managing content, or optimizing production. From precision automation to streamlined collaboration, CTC has your project covered so you can focus on creating, building, and innovating with confidence. Family-owned since 1964, Bartos delivers best-in-class HVAC and acoustic solutions backed by decades of expertise and relationship-driven service. For engineers, architects, and mechanical contractors, Bartos is your partner from design to delivery. Now, let's start the conversation.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our show. My name is Francesca Baker, and I'm a project manager at Jordan and Skala Engineers. And I'm here with Tom Matzen, our BIM manager, and I'm in the hot seat today. Tom is going to be asking me some questions about project management as it relates to the transition from CAD to Revit. How's it going, Tom?
It's going all right. Been a busy morning so far.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's exciting.
So kind of wanted to start off, I guess, with tell me a little bit about what project management is.
Okay, yeah, so I've been project managing now pretty much since the beginning of my time here at Jordan Skala. Really, in a short summation, we're the main point of contact for our client. We represent mechanical, electrical, plumbing, sustainability, low voltage for Jordan Skala. And really, we are coordinating the team internally and working with a big project team to do our part to coordinate with them as best as possible to make sure all of our projects are delivered on time and well coordinated up to our engineering standards at Jordan Skala. So, part of that internal coordination is just the actual managing of the backgrounds themselves, the architectural backgrounds and our drafting of our MEP design.
Okay. And Jordan Skala's been using CAD for years now, and
Right.
we're transitioning into BIM, and we've been
Right.
doing that for quite a few years as well. Tell me a little bit about the difference between CAD and Revit softwares.
Yeah, so project management, when a project is in CAD versus Revit, I would say the biggest difference is our internal schedule. AutoCAD is definitely what we've been used to. It's what a lot of our clients have been working in for so long. And so at a certain point, it just becomes so quick, the drafting effort in AutoCAD. But as the industry shifts and our clients shift, moving more towards a BIM Revit model, we have to make that shift as well. But the biggest difference is just the time management portion of the two, because of the more detailed that Revit is, which makes it so great, right? We can have this better coordination effort of this 3D model. You can actually see the outside dimension of our ductwork and plumbing piping and really see how a lighting fixture is going to sit on the ceiling. It's awesome, but it takes longer to do that level of drafting. So internally, as a project manager, I have to work with the team to make sure that we are time managing our schedule and our modeling capabilities in order to hit similar deadlines that we've had. As the industry shifts and MEP is shifting with this program, we also need to stay on top of getting our projects delivered on time, right?
Right. So basically is there differences in the way that you communicate with those two softwares in order to achieve that?
Definitely. And we rely so heavily on our BIM department, really. I mean, I always say this in any project. Our BIM coordinator, Letitia, I don't know what we would do without her. She is a huge part of this whole process, just to make sure that our models are set up in a way that meets our client standards, but also can be used by us on the design side as efficiently as possible. So we definitely have to have more conversations, because with CAD, I mean, it's just the same thing every time. You're pretty much just, you figure out your sheet size and then it's always going to be the same. But with Revit, there's several different ways to go about it. It also depends on your type of building that you have too. So we're definitely working more collaboratively with our BIM department, which I think is great.
Right. And I'm assuming that all those nuances that you're seeing, you're getting answers at the beginning of projects with BIM kickoff meetings. And
Yes. So the BIM kickoff meetings are, I mean, absolutely integral. Like, we cannot start a project in Revit without a BIM kickoff meeting with our clients. And I would say they're typically, not too long. It can be even like a 10 to 15 minute meeting. It depends on the client. Some clients have something similar to what we have, a BIM department. So they would bring on their representative that would just be our two BIM departments talking, really the subject matter experts here on how we are going to share models and update our backgrounds and set up our project, how we are going to name our sheets, how our sheet index is going to be set up. We hit all of these conversations, and we have a great checklist that we just run through, and then we have the record of that as well. So, if someone else comes in later and needs to do some work on it, they have a reference to look up. So, yeah, the BIM kickoff meetings are absolutely necessary at the beginning of a project with Revit. And the design team, I think, would totally attest to that. I mean, I see people all the time saying, have we had our BIM kickoff meeting? When are we getting it set up? Because everyone really wants to clear everything up in the beginning.
right. So how does the BIM department interplay during a project after it's set up with model performance and things like that?
Right. So they're definitely going to be key in that sharing and updating of the model. Depending on the client, they may want to have a live model. They may want to publish and consume. And our BIM department is really great at keeping track of that, so that when we see that there is an update or change to the backgrounds that we need to reflect, they fairly quickly know exactly what they're doing when they get into the model. They know how to update it. And then they're very good at communicating with us. There's a whole new series of dwelling units and the name is changing. This is how I'm thinking of setting it up. Do you all agree? Which is really great, because then it's not a surprise to anyone. And I think that's, at the end of the day, the best thing for us is that we know what is changing and we have a little bit of preparation and control and how we're updating those changes.
Kind of working alongside the PM then and following and tracking the model changes to help the designers.
Definitely.
Okay. In your BIM kickoff meetings, what kind of attendance do you see? I mean, is it just our clients or architects, or is it more in depth and contain all disciplines of the project?
So I've seen it several ways. I would say what is becoming more and more popular is to have this kickoff with MEP and structural. I would say, since we are the majority of the inner workings of the building and we're involved in all aspects of the building, it makes the most sense to have that kickoff with us, because we are on more similar timelines, just as far as design goes with the project. And architectural background changes, I wouldn't say affect us similarly, but we have to provide a similar amount of time to react to those changes, if that makes sense. So I've seen it become more popular to have MEP and structural and architectural on the BIM kickoff. Typically, civil and landscaper working in CAD no matter what. And then, interior design is a little bit different. A lot of times they're coming on later in the game anyway, so they can usually just kind of hop in and share their backgrounds with us. So that has become more and more popular. It definitely is always the architect, and usually if they have a BIM department, their BIM department joins as well. It's always our BIM department and the project manager at least. Sometimes it's good to have the rest of the design team on there. I wouldn't say it's necessary, especially if it's a client we've worked with before. We'll just save everyone the time and get with them later on what occurs.
Can you provide any case studies that you've seen with or without the BIM kickoff?
Yes. So I would say without the BIM kickoff, it's a little bit more of a scramble, right? We are eventually having some sort of a like last minute conversation, whether that, at this point, it probably doesn't look like a true BIM kickoff meeting because it's really last minute, most likely. And usually it's a strain. Well, not only is it a strain on the design team because they probably haven't been able to properly model within the backgrounds yet, but it's a huge strain on our BIM department. And, all of our backgrounds are flowing through them. So we don't want to cause any roadblocks on getting anything set up that's just going to put us behind the eight ball. So, yeah, we do not just want to fly by the seat of our pants into a Revit model without having a conversation with our client about it.
What are you hearing about fully populated models?
So, fully populated models, I feel like are trending more on the design build side of the industry. I would not say that it is normal yet. But I definitely see the benefit in it. It can really save on coordination efforts because you will, at the end of the day, the goal is to see every single unit, every single ceiling of this building with all of MEP in it, with structural in it, with ID in it, in every single corner. So, a lot of times we're going by just typical views and making assumptions about how it's constructed. And with that, there's going to probably be some hiccups in the field. The point of the fully populated model is to really make sure that there are no major issues that are going to repeat themselves a ton of times, which it makes a lot of sense. But with that, obviously, it takes a lot more time to design.
So, yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head there is that a lot of the fully populated models take more time. And
Right.
not all of our project schedules allow for that extra time to be taken.
Exactly.
But there is definitely the potential of utilizing not only or seeing all the aspects that may exist, but also potentially start pulling data out of the model. And right now, our project schedules don't sound like they're hitting that just yet, but we're
Right.
working towards it.
Right, exactly. And when I have seen it, that's built into the schedule. So we're maybe populating 50% of the model first, reviewing that and making sure we're not, once again, repeating issues or anything, trying to catch it in pieces so that by the time 100% of the model is populated, it should be, pretty up to par.
Right. Bouncing kind of back to the BIM kickoff meetings, how long are those meetings typically take you and your team?
I would say they're typically, we can knock it out in probably 15 minutes. If structural is on the call as well, maybe it takes a little bit longer just because we're talking to, more disciplines, but they can be pretty quick. We have a great checklist that we just run through. Typically, the architect is speaking the same language, so they know how to answer those questions fairly quickly, I would say.
Overall, communication between Revit and CAD projects, it sounds like that we're having more communication with the Revit projects than we probably did with the CAD projects in the past.
Yes, I would say that, yes, we are definitely communicating more. We have to, just to make sure that, we're having time to implement our design properly.
But what about the model? I thought the consensus was you can kind of get all the data out of the model.
Yes and no. I would say the model is great because we can all be in there and we can see each other's elements and we can get all of the data exactly like you're saying. But I think it's just more of the time management communication aspect, and also with all of the information being in the model, things can overlap, right? All of a sudden we have ductwork on the plumbing plans and things of that nature. So
Right.
we have to work with each other a little bit there.
Where do you foresee project management heading in the industry?
Project management in general in the industry, I think, technology is just ever changing and becoming more and more efficient, and project managers are going to have to get up to speed with it and learn how to use it to our advantage so that we can also be just as efficient and correct and coordinated in our deliverables, in hopes to, make our clients happy and avoid issues in construction in the field. I mean, that's the whole, beauty behind Revit with architecture, is that we can hopefully solve a lot of problems up front, so that we're having a smooth construction phase. So I think project management is going to get more efficient with the software, and we're going to be able to use it to our advantage, of course.
Okay.
It is there to work for us, so we just need to figure out how to make it work as efficiently as possible.
Totally agree. And just to kind of hint on future possible topics, but obviously the project management getting smarter with some of the AI stuff that's coming in the industry, getting everybody excited.
Okay, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll have to see where that ends up.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it is, like I said, working for us, helping us just to be better and more clear and as efficient as possible. I mean, everything's faster and more detailed, so we have to keep up with that.
Absolutely. So we just went through a case study. Tell me a little bit more about one of your favorite clients or favorite models that you've worked with.
Yes, so I'd love to talk about that. I would say a couple of examples. My first and most favorite is, we get this awesome big project. It's a lot of moving pieces. It is very just large in nature, has a lot of different scope, not just, dwelling unit design, but it has some restaurants, some really high-end amenity. And of course we have, a client that wants it done yesterday. That's usually the case, which is great.
We only work for that one client, obviously.
Yeah. And, we're doing this project in Revit, and we want it to be highly coordinated. And it was the first time working with this architect in our office, and they were really great about understanding why we need time and some control over our Revit model. The reason why that is so great is because, sometimes you just don't understand that if you move a wall, 6 inches or something, and you do that in the whole building, now all of your plumbing risers are messed up.
Yep.
And because that's in 3D, it's not just, showing a circle like it is in AutoCAD. It is literally a pipe going up and down your building, and that basically has to be deleted. I mean, that design is having to be redrawn at that point. If you change your ceiling height, if structural gets added in and now there's, beams everywhere that we're seeing, anything like that can affect the RCP, which affects mechanical and electrical. So explaining that to an architect that is open-minded and hearing that, they're like, oh, that makes total sense. We'll let you know exactly what changes we're making, and we will send you our model, 2 weeks before this deliverable, which gives us time to consume it and update it ourselves. And then our BIM team lets us know what has changed in the backgrounds.
Yep.
And now we can go to those specific points and clean up our design. That helps for a lot of reasons. One, we are able to control when and what we are updating. And that allows us to take a moment and identify where there are changes instead of sending us on a wild goose chase where things could be missed, essentially.
Streamlining the fact, bringing you directly to the changes rather than having to hunt them down.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And it just saves time at the end of the day. Is going to make our drawings a lot cleaner. So that was a great experience because with the architect understanding, that we all have the same end goal, right? Provide the best, most high-end product that we can to our client and we just need, a realistic timeline for that sometimes. So having them help us to have that conversation is super beneficial. And then kind of pivoting to another example of that is live models are very popular with architects. And I totally understand why, right? That your entire team has the correct background and things are going to match. And it definitely adds to, a level of efficiency and cleanliness in our backgrounds. But with that, as we're working through a project, we all have some late nights, some 3 a.m. changes that we're making.
Not in engineering.
Oh, no, never. And it can be tough sometimes when you're waking up on that day of a deliverable and you see there's all these fun architectural background changes. So with a live model, what is great is to find a level of compromise, So what's worked out really nicely is when we're live for, the majority of these different construction or CD phases, DD, SD, sorry, I'm going backwards, SD, DD, CD, all of our design phases. And then we pick a day where the model freezes. So 2 weeks before this deadline, we are no longer live. These are the backgrounds that you have to work on. And coordinating that in our BIM kickoff at the very beginning of the project has gone really well. And it's been very successful. So it's just a good compromise of, yes, you have the live model and your backgrounds are showing up as soon as possible for us, which is great because we can adapt to changes quickly, but it still gives us that little bit of control so that our drawings still look clean and make sense when we deliver them.
It's almost a necessity with the live models as well, just because in order for, the other options are the publish and consume. When you publish it, you have a little bit more control because you can talk to the architect about when to publish it. But the publishing and consume, it allows us to maybe make sure that our stuff is aligned, and it makes sure that we have a good design package that we put out, but our backgrounds may be different.
Right.
So there is perks behind the live modeling,
Exactly.
but you've got the everybody on board has to work together in order for it to work.
Which the BIM kickoff is a great first step. You
Yes.
know? That's why I'm a big proponent of the BIM kickoff. But I know you have been mentioning how, you're always sending us just company updates about Revit changes, how the BIM team is working on improving our families, improving model efficiency. What is kind of like the thing you're most excited about right now as far as what's coming down the pipeline with BIM updates?
Well, I think some of our families, we've taken huge strides in the way that we built them. We've got a lot of formulations built into them that are honed more towards what JSE does for design, in the hopes of saving the designer's time on the end goal. Outside of that, we're trying to make things just essentially more accepting or more easily accessible to everybody. So we've made some changes there. We also got a bunch of new tools that are coming out that hopefully will be incorporating better efficiencies while modeling.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of the ones that pops out in my head off the bat is those fun little comments we get from clients where, hey, you've got a half-inch line going through our beam. Having a tool that can quickly offset that without having
That's
to
awesome.
really think about it, or the extra efforts of drawing the pipe down and around.
Right.
So hopefully that's going to be coming here soon. Outside of that, I really think that because we have the BIM kickoff meetings and because we are trying to do a lot of the project management, that we may be going above and beyond some of our competitors out there, trying to make sure that we're hitting quality assurance with our clients and working better with them as a team.
Yeah, it's all about asking the right questions, right?
Yes.
So like if you're equipped with the right questions, that's a huge strength.
Absolutely. And one of our key things at JSE is excellence in engineering. So, we strive for that and we try to push that as hard as we can, even in the BIM world.
Right. And part of that too is at the end of the day, I mean, we're providing construction documents. If they're not clear and legible and coordinated, then that's a huge part of our job that we hadn't done. So the Revit side of it and making things more efficient so that we can put the extra effort into coordination is huge. So what are some of the AI things that are coming that could be beneficial to us, or that Jordan Skala is going to be the next, front runner on?
Well, we're looking into that already. I've been digging into a lot of those. There's obviously AI is a very broad term in the industry. Obviously, I think the starting point is large language modeling is kind of the big thing right now. Being able to talk to the model and ask it to do something. Yeah, create a bunch of sheets. Just
Please
being able
print
to type
this
that
faster.
in. Right. Yeah. I don't know about faster part, but it'll at least get the steps going for you.
That's awesome.
And then there's also the automation of design, which I think we're further out on the automating of modeling, but there's still some key things like end-to-end routing. Obviously, is making some headway. I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So there's potential. I'm eager to see what happens and where we're going to go with all that, to be honest with you.
Me too. And I've definitely, I've heard some rumblings of what we are doing to be on the front end of that. And I'm very excited to see where it goes in the future.
Absolutely. The potential there is going to be great.
Yeah.
So.
It's awesome. Okay, well, this has been great.
Yeah.
It's been so much fun to talk about. I feel like I've learned a lot too. So thank you so much for all your questions, and this has been fun.
Vice versa. I appreciate your questions as well.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the eagerness.
Yeah, absolutely.